Are you planning on purchasing a home in 2023? Have you been on the hunt but haven't been able to source that right property yet? Our current real estate market is definitely unique, but with the right real estate team and these 5 tricks, I'm certain you'll be able to get the home that you've been after. Tip number 1, and this kind of goes without saying, if you do a Google search or a YouTube search, you're gonna find this. You've got to get pre-approved with a lender. Now, if you're cash, that's great, but most people, I would say, are getting financing. So sitting down with a lender, spreading out all your pertinent, important financial information, like your tax returns, your last couple months bank statements. If you're paid 1099, you're looking at that tax return. If you're paid W-2, you're looking at some pay stubs, credit scores, all the boring nitty-gritty stuff. You've got to bite the bullet and get with a lender so that you can be pre-approved and know exactly what your payment is for, and most importantly, that you can get that bank loan that you want. Now, aside from making sure that you can get the loan that you want, when you go to make an offer on a house, because I've seen this so many times where people put the cart before the horse, they find a house that they love, but they haven't done their homework with a lender yet, that's a recipe for the whole thing to fall apart. Because when you go to make an offer, what is always included with an offer? It's that lender pre-approval letter. When a listing agent fields an offer on their listing, they're gonna make sure, hey, is this buyer pre-approved? Can they actually get the loan that they're setting forth? It's really a 2-prong. You wanna know that you're pre-approved and what your payment is, but you can't just say, yeah, I know I'm good for it. You have to prove that to the listing agent and the seller when you make an offer. Tip number 2, research the neighborhood. I cannot stress this enough. Your search should not start with bedrooms and bathrooms or finishings. It should really start with the neighborhood. Now, this is something that I do with all of my clients. We go out and we identify, what do you want in the lifestyle? How is this home gonna help you create the lifestyle that you want? So we're talking about, what do you want access to? What are the schools? Do you want a view? Do you want to walk to the beach? Then let's go look at some of the neighborhoods that have those key lifestyle features for you. And then what ends up happening is you identify, oh, I love this neighborhood by the beach, or I love this hill that has the best Catalina ocean views. What then happens is it becomes easy to find the right house. No house is perfect. You're going to make sacrifices, but if it's in the neighborhood that offers you that lifestyle, it'll be so much easier to know which sacrifices you should make. The house hunting becomes easy, and that's why I've had such a high success rate with my clients. Most of them, if they're ready, willing, and able, are finding a home in less than 3 months. My 3rd tip, don't skimp on the home inspections. There's a handful of really key inspections, which would be your general home inspection, which would be a termite inspection, roof inspection. You might be putting a camera down the drains through the sewer lines in the house to make sure there aren't any breaks or backups. You might be getting some other type of pool inspection or maybe a mold inspection if there was some water damage. So you can see there's 5 or 6 key inspections that we see in San Clemente a lot of times. A geology inspection. When you get a house in escrow, your due diligence period, which could be 7, 10, 14, or 17 days, depending on how you write an offer right now, that time is really for you to, get comfortable with the home. Tear it apart, so to speak. Now, I don't mean you're opening walls, but figure out what the history of the home is and what its current condition is as best as you possibly can. And I'll tell you, you can expect to spend some money on those inspections. A home inspection, anywhere from $500 to $700 on average. Geology walkthrough would be $650. These can start to add up to, $2,000, $3,000. But man, it's so worth it, because if you find something that would really change that value of the home to you, might find yourself walking away and getting your whole deposit back. Or you might find yourself renegotiating with the seller. Hey, sorry, but we found this and it changes the value. We need some participation. And it's so much better to address it in escrow than rush through the escrow process, close. A couple months later, you find this problem and you're hit with a big bill. So please don't skimp on the inspections. It's well worth it to do all of those up front, and it'll pay big dividends. My 4th tip, don't rush the home buying process. If you're very well calculated and researched and you've done the neighborhood research like I mentioned in my 2nd tip, this process will happen quickly quickly, but I have seen where buyers come into town and they just simply go for a house, maybe because it has the right square footage or the right bedroom and bathroom count, but there was very little research done. That could be a recipe where you get into the house and after a year or two, you're, I don't like this neighborhood. For whatever reason, I want to sell my house. Now that's good for realtors, that's good for our business, but it's not good for homeowners, because the more that you sell and turn your properties, the more that you pay in real estate fees over the course of your home ownership, and it eats into equity. Take your time. And I don't mean 6 months to a year, that's a really long time. Like I said, my clients are finding the home they want in 3 months or less, but that's because they're very well researched. So you can quickly do your research and make sure that the home you're buying is going to be all encompassing from a lifestyle perspective. And you should end up, if you want, owning that home longer, building more equity, and not moving until you absolutely have to or want to. And tip number 5, it's a good one that's gonna help you basically cover all of your bases on everything we've talked about here. Work with a good local real estate agent. It's really simple nowadays to figure out, if an agent's local and if they're experienced. Just look at their Google reviews. Read through those reviews. How many do they have? Are they actually working in the market that you're looking to buy in? That's a really, really important trait for an agent, is to have hyper local knowledge, because our real estate market it's like a hamster wheel. It's moving fast. And if you jump off for whatever reason, that agent jumps off and maybe they're part-time now, or they haven't been in the game for a while, think about how many times that wheel's gone round and round since they've been in the game. So just make sure that you're working with somebody who's hyper local, very experienced, has excellent reviews, because that person will pay so many dividends for you, being able to walk you through all of these tips and making sure that you're protected, that you're getting a good buy, and that you're ultimately going to be happy in the home that you purchase. So I hope you found these home buying tips helpful. As always, if you have any questions, you can shoot me a text message. I'm so thankful to be having conversations with many of you now as you prepare, where am I going to buy? When am I going to buy? All the things we just talked about. It's so fun to have these conversations with you and then see you ultimately get into that house that you've been hunting for. I'll look forward to hearing from you. Take care.